There was another thing brewing over the weekend with my good friend and former radio co-host, Greg Opie Hughes. Now, Opie loses his mind. It's the funniest thing. He loses his mind when he looks into his chat, which he does constantly during his, what he would like to call a show. And then somebody will say something like, did you hear Anthony was shitting on you with his friends or something? And they're lying. They just, I might have mentioned his show or his name came up when I was talking about O&A, and the trolls know it. Like, he gets like 30 views during his live streams. He gets 30 people that watch live. And out of that, I have to assume that maybe 5, and that I'm really giving him the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe 5 of those people are actual fans. I would assume the other 25 are hate watching, are trolls building up a rapport so they could pull the trigger at some point, or they're sarcastically trying to annoy him about me. Some of them just pop right in and go, Anthony was shit talking you. And then without any checking or anything, he just goes, he's soulless, that prick, and then just starts shitting all over me when I hadn't really done much of anything. I'll critique his show. I haven't seen him get on and go, read a chat that says, hey, Anthony was critiquing your show at Gephardt's the other day, and he had some suggestions, this. And then Opie could go, really critiquing my show? Here's my critique of his show. And then he could come out with the litany of errors that I make here on my program. But he just takes it and runs and goes to the lowest possible place that he can go. So, yeah, I had a few in me on Friday, and I saw his little clip here, and I answered back, and I'm like, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Which he is, he's a piece of shit. But what he says is, and again, look at, it's just the chat that he is obsessed looking at during these shows. Obsessed. And then he gets a viewer, a troll, who just gets him going. Look what got him crazy.
Opie's wearing shades because Cumia reviewed Opie at Gephardt's yesterday. He made fun of Opie squinting his eyes because he won't wear old man glasses like him. Opie's too cool to wear glasses. Ew, Anthony. Ew, Anthony. Ew, he's still going after me. Herbert.
Pause it.
Herbert's still going.
Pause. This isn't going after him. I watched the show at Gephardt's. I critiqued a few things. I said that Opie should turn that chat off. You have 2 other people in the same room you're in discussing things, and he's not paying a second of attention to these other guys. You got some mental patient telling a story in the back, which is great. He just repeats himself. Not Opie, the mental patient behind him. I don't know what his name is, but he's just going off on something. And like, it would be funnier if Opie was paying attention and could comment on some of the lunacy. This isn't even an insult. Yes, I did watch the show at Gephardt's. Yes, I did talk about it. I wasn't making fun of him squinting. I'm going, look at him squinting. Like, he's trying to read the chat and he's squinting. And he had said in a previous episode that no matter what, he's not wearing glasses because he doesn't want to look silly like I do with my crazy glasses. Let her rip.
Going after me? Oh, my God. Here's something. When you spend most of your show going after others and there's a whole world out there, that's all they do. They don't have material. They have nothing. They're lazy. They can barely get out of bed to do their show every day. I live this with stupid Anthony. So he's late.
Morning radio is very difficult, people. And I liked going out. It was difficult for me to get up in the morning. But I think if I got in at 6:05, it's what it is. Am I late? Yeah, technically. And Opie he'd say it on mic so the bosses would hear it. I'd walk in, take a seat, missed nothing. Yeah, literally the music was still playing, or they had just started the show, and I'm running into the studio and I sit down, and Opie would be like, Anthony's here. What, traffic? To let the bosses know I was late. And this wasn't all the time. Believe me, I was in there with plenty of time to spare on the vast majority of days we did the O&A show. Look at the archives. And I'm just talking to the general public. Look and see how many of my shows are tagged with Opie and Anthony. How about that? Look at how many titles of my shows throughout 11 years since I was booted from SiriusXM. 11 years of shows. And tell me how many have Opie and Anthony in the title, or Opie and Anthony as a tag or something, as opposed to this guy who likes to start his shows with the same song that we started our show with.
One thing I could do, I could always find a Opie video to make fun of. It's not why I'm wearing glasses. Trust me, I'll have my stupid shades off very, very soon. Tell Herbert to go screw.
Pause. There's a few things here. It's not why I have my glasses on. I'll take them off in a minute. Why would you? The sun is literally rising behind him. It's 5:30 in the mornings. For some reason, this guy gets up at before it's even light out. And he felt compelled to put on sunglasses. For what? For what reason? Not because of what I said. I think he absolutely put him on because he doesn't want people to see him now squinting, reading the chat.
You're just a jerk. You always were a jerk. You're not loyal to anyone but yourself. I saw you throw your wife under the bus. I saw you throw all your girlfriends under the bus. I saw you throw your friends under the bus. I saw you throw all your bandmates under the bus. I saw you throw me under the bus. I gave you the biggest break of your stupid life.
Pause.
You're loyal to
no one. I have been accused of many, many things in my day. One thing I can tell you that no one has ever accused me of is being disloyal. My loyalty over the course of my life has gone beyond the call of loyalty duty. Everyone that knows me would attest to that. Even the people that worked at Compound Media, having within the past year or so, been fired because we were melding the two camps together from Censored and Compound. They would even have a very tough time arguing that I was disloyal in any way. I kept that company going on fumes and made sure every fucking pay period they all got paid. I literally withdrew money from my savings account to put into the corporate account so that those paychecks would go out on time. That's what I do. That's what my loyalty to my staff was. And look, things don't go on forever. We understand that. Compound had to change. We had to do something. But for that last couple of years, I just kept it going out of, I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed the people that worked there. They were loyal to me. I was loyal to them. I don't think anyone could argue that. Now, this, on the other hand, when you talk about loyalty, I've never worked with or known someone who has fucked more people over under this false guise of being friends or coworkers or something than Greg Opie Hughes. He acts like a scorned girlfriend, like a woman. And then friends? What friends? I am dear friends, real friends, with the same friends I've had from the time I was in high school So from that entire time period, from the time I was 16 till now, I have made and kept friends. This guy, I hear about one or two frat boys that he's known over the course of the years, and then that's it. And then there's just people he feels he can use and utilize to get another jump up on the social media, YouTube thing, whatever it is. Whether it was Carl or the comedian of the week, and now it's these Gephardt guys. Whatever his friend of the week is that could help him, that could give him a place to do his show, a bar, that could give him material. There's a nutty guy that comes in and just spouts off insane rhetoric. They supply him with beers down at this bar, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the financial arrangement. I guarantee you, though, that they're making no money. I've said this 1,000 times. There is not one person that I know of that we have worked with over the course of the Opie and Anthony show that have remained friends with Greg Opie Hughes. I don't know one. Every single one of them. I went to WAAF for their farewell broadcast. I went on the shows, Mistress Carrie. We went out, we drank, we laughed, talked about good old times at WAAF. The only time Opie's name came up was when people were conveying a story about what a prick he was to them. But it's my fault. I've somehow magically influenced all these people. It's batshit thinking. There's a reason. If the majority of the people you've ever known or worked with don't like you, it's you. We would go into a meeting with the bosses, whether it was anywhere. Not so much AAF because we didn't really have anyone working for us. But once we hit NEW and started getting a production team together, it started. Opie realized he could have something over on the people that worked for us if there was this constant threat that they were going to be fired. This is what he did. So we'd go into the meetings with these bosses and kind of shit talk this little subtle shit talking of a couple of members of the staff, or he'd pick one to concentrate on for a given amount of time. He'd be like, we wanted to get this done, but, I put it out there and he dropped the ball, or, I just don't hear back from these people. And the bosses, they take note. And then maybe next meeting, he brings it up again, right up until the bosses go, hey, we can replace, if you're not happy with this guy, we could absolutely replace him. I'll put an ad out. We'll go in company. We'll get somebody. And then here it comes. No. I'm not saying that. No. Look, I'll have a meeting with him and we'll turn it around. Then he goes to the person and goes, dude, I just saved your ass in there. They were ready to can you. And, they're ready to hire someone else. You got to step it up, bro. So we would do this to the staff. And if you don't believe this, ask any of the staff. E-Rock, Travis, anyone that worked with us at Sirius Satellite Radio, Sirius XM, WNEW. So he would do this. And subsequently, some people would. He would, set them adrift. And Carlisi was one of those guys. Steve Carlisi. And Steve, he definitely had issues. This guy, I believe, not talking out of school. I worked with him for many years, but he didn't seem like he was a happy guy. And it was kind of sad because he was very funny, talented. He was a fun guy to be around. But he had his demons. And I don't think it was imperative to get rid of Steve when they did. And I think it was very detrimental to his mental health to get rid of him. I think that should have been taken into consideration when looking to get rid of that guy. And he was one of the prime guys that used to get shat upon by Opie in the meetings with the bosses. And then he'd go back, Steve, dude, how many times I can't save your job every day. Meanwhile, the guy that was initiating the whole thing went in there and shitting on the staff was him. And part of the reason was the recognition that myself and Jimmy got for what we were there for, the show, being entertaining, being interesting, being compelling, being funny, getting the accolades, the bits that people would talk about when we're out on appearances. Opie would have to sit there while we're signing and have people come up to me and Jimmy and go, God damn, dude, I had to pull my car off the road when you guys were talking about this, that, the other thing. And Opie's just sitting there. No one mentioned one of Opie's bits, segments. Oh, remember he threw the poker chips at the woman. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my God, he smashed the CD and Bernie gets one crazy. Sure, great one. What have you done for me lately? And when that really started taking hold, he needed a position, a place in this show, because he was starting to feel like he didn't have a place. He's said that before. I felt like I was an outcast on my own show. So it went like that for a while, and he thought, well, I'll be the guy that they're afraid of. I'll get that respect out of fear. I won't sign a contract until 1 minute before it's due, letting everyone sit around wondering if they have a job tomorrow. They've been working at this job for years. They have families. And Opie sitting there going, will I sign? Won't I sign? I'll wait 1 minute to 6 and I might sign it. Imagine putting your employees through that. They're not going to look at it and go, wow, that was so cool. I respect that guy. They're going to go, what an asshole. And then years later, when they talk to people and his name comes up, they're going to go, what an asshole. So he wants to talk about loyalty. He wants to shit on me about loyalty. Get the out of here. I'm an internet tough guy. Just ask Kevin Brennan. He's incapable of answering this back. He can shit on me more. He'll do that. But he'll never be able to address everything I just said about the friends and former employees and bosses even and whatnot. So loyalty, if you're loyal to someone, they don't end up despising you and shit talking you.
No one but yourself. Could someone fix that in the edit? Thanks. It was almost a perfect rant until the end, and then I fumbled a little bit. But tell Herbert to go screw.
He does all my bits too on the air. He does all my little idiosyncrasies and little lines that I would say, because that was my go screw. That's mine. And I'm not going to leave it out. The Herbert thing. Is that something he learned from his kids? Is that like part of the youth's thing? Because I've heard of a Herb. Oh, that guy's a Herb. He's a Herbert. What?
Never heard of that before.
Yeah. And when he accuses me of being disloyal, that is such a projection. I had to tell him, I've written it in books. I had to tell him to not do this. Hey, I need my blueberries. Where are my blueberries? At an intern or someone. And one day I was cringing. I had to actually walk up to him and say, Opie, I got to tell you. I go, I don't think the staff likes you snapping at them. He goes, when have I snapped? I go, no, not snap. Like, they don't like that either. But I go, not snap. I mean, literally like, so, but if I'm on mic and I got to talk, we're not doing the nightly news here. You could say, hey, could you get me? And then go back to your story. This is the most demeaning thing.